Quick question. Which NATO country just shot down Russian drones, told Moscow to go pound sand, and is currently building an army that could stomp through Eastern Europe like it's 1683 all over again? If you guessed Poland, congratulations. You're paying attention to the most underestimated military buildup in Europe. Here's what nobody's telling you. While Russia's burning through Soviet-era equipment in Ukraine, Poland has been on the most insane shopping spree in NATO history. We're talking $50 billion in defense spending, over 1,000 modern tanks, more than the UK, Germany, France, and Italy combined. And September 2025 just proved something Moscow desperately hoped we'd never figure out. Poland isn't scared anymore. They shot down Russian drones that violated their airspace and basically dared Putin to do something about it. Today, you're going to discover why attacking Poland would be Russia's last military decision, ever. Let's start with a number that should make every Russian general nervous: 4.7% of GDP. That's how much Poland is spending on defense in 2025. For context, Poland's 2025 budget includes record defense spending of 187 billion zlotys, or $48.7 billion. NATO recommends 2%. Most countries struggle to hit that. Poland said, "Hold my pierogi," and more than doubled it. The United States, the world's superpower, spends about 3.5% of GDP on defense. Poland leads NATO in defense spending as a percentage of GDP, surpassing even the United States. Let that sink in. Poland, a country of 38 million people, is outspending America proportionally. Germany spends less, France spends less, Britain spends less. This isn't symbolic. This is Poland's plan to increase its armed forces from 205,000 troops to 300,000 by 2035, an almost 50% increase. But here's where it gets spicy. The nearly 190 billion zloty figure combines standard budgetary defense spending with expenditures from the Armed Forces Support Fund, which is basically Poland taking out massive loans to arm itself right now. Why the rush? Because of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Poland allocated 2.7% of its GDP to defense in 2022, while in 2025 the budget is expected to rise to 4.7%. Poland looked at Ukraine getting invaded and said, "Never again, not here, not ever." And here's what makes this unstoppable. According to the Security Radar 2025 survey, 75% of Polish citizens support increased military spending. This figure is among the highest in Europe. Try finding 75% of any European country agreeing on anything. But Poles remember Soviet occupation. They remember 1939. They remember being carved up between Germany and Russia. This isn't military spending. This is a national survival instinct backed by democratic consensus. So Poland's throwing money at defense like they're trying to single-handedly restart the Cold War arms race. But money alone doesn't win wars. You need actual weapons. And oh boy, have they been shopping. All right, buckle up. Because Poland is building a tank force so massive, so modern, that it makes European militaries look like they're cosplaying with museum pieces. Poland will have over 950 modern tanks by 2030, including 360 K2s, 366 American Abrams, and 235 German Leopards. When you add their 150 Polish-made PT-91 Twardý tanks, that's over 1,100 tanks total. Germany, France, Italy, and the UK have a combined total of under 950 tanks. Read that again. Poland, one country, will have more modern tanks than 4 major European powers combined. The backbone of this force? The K2 Black Panther from South Korea. Poland signed an agreement with South Korea for 180 more K2s, along with 81 support vehicles, valued at approximately $6.5 billion. But that's just the latest order. Poland has signed agreements to procure up to 1,000 K2 tanks, making it the largest armored force in Europe. The K2 Black Panther isn't your grandfather's tank. It's got 120mm auto-loaded cannon, active protection system against anti-tank missiles, advanced composite armor, hydropneumatic suspension, compatible with all NATO ammunition. Oh, and 61 of them will be built in Poland at the Łębie plant, giving Poland domestic tank production capability. But Poland didn't stop there. Poland has secured 200 K2 Black Panther tanks from South Korea, with 84 already delivered by early 2025, and ordered 250 new M1A2SE PV-3 Abrams tanks from the United States. The M1A2SE PV-3 is the most advanced Abrams variant ever built. Trophy active protection system, third-generation thermal sights, digital backbone that connects to F-35s and HIMARS. The first shipment of 28 M1A2SE PV-3 arrived in January 2025, with Polish crews conducting their first live fire exercises in April 2025. And they've still got over 230 modernized Leopard 2 tanks, the 2PL variant upgraded with German technology. Poland's army will become the most powerful land force in Europe, says Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz. That's not posturing, that's math. Now there's a catch. The Abrams is notoriously fuel-hungry, consuming about 2 gallons per mile, and Poland's infrastructure wasn't built for such heavy loads. But Poland's already addressing this. They're upgrading bridges, expanding rail capacity, and building maintenance facilities. So Poland's got tanks, lots of them, modern ones. But tanks alone don't win wars. You need artillery, air power, and everything else that makes a military actually functional. And guess what? Poland bought that too. If Poland's tank purchases made Russian generals nervous, wait until you see what else Warsaw bought. Because this isn't just a military modernization, it's a complete transformation into a 21st century war machine. Start with artillery. Over 200 South Korean K9 self-propelled howitzers, compatible with NATO standard ammunition, join Polish AHS Crab self-propelled howitzers, aided by American HIMARS rocket artillery. The K9 Thunder is a beast. 155mm howitzer, 52 caliber barrel, can fire 6 rounds per minute at targets 40+ kilometers away. And HIMARS, Ukraine proved what those can do to Russian logistics. Poland's buying hundreds of them. Significant investments in American Patriot air defense systems and other locally produced complementary systems mean Poland is building layered air defenses that would make attacking their airspace suicidal. Poland became the second country in the world, after the US, to acquire the Patriot Advanced Capability 3 configuration, the most sophisticated version available. In military aviation, Poland is transitioning from legacy Soviet fighters to modern F-35 stealth aircraft, complemented by F-A-50 aircraft from South Korea. F-35s are 5th-generation stealth fighters. Russia's S-400 air defense system struggled to detect them. Poland will have dozens of them, and for close air support, Boeing will build 96 AH-64E Apache attack helicopters for Poland, with deliveries scheduled for 2028. Notice the pattern? American tanks and helicopters, South Korean tanks, howitzers, and fighters, German Leopards, Polish domestic production. This multi-platform approach reflects a deliberate strategy to diversify capabilities, blending American, European, and South Korean technology into a cohesive force. Poland isn't putting all their eggs in one basket. If one supplier has problems, they've got backups. But here's the genius move. By securing local production rights for the K2PL, Poland is strengthening its defense industry, embedding technological capacity that could serve future export ambitions, creating over 10,000 jobs within 10 years. Poland isn't just buying weapons. They're building a defense industry that can sustain wartime production and potentially export to other NATO members. In 2024 alone, the Ministry of National Defense signed over 130 contracts with a combined value of 35.2 billion euros. That's more than some countries' entire defense budgets in a single year. Now there's a problem nobody wants to talk about. The Armed Forces Support Fund's debt could reach 282.4 billion Polish zloty by 2028, raising concerns about long-term sustainability. Poland is financing this through loans, bonds, and creative accounting. The debt is piling up, but Polish leadership has made a calculation: better in debt than conquered. So Poland's got the hardware: tanks, artillery, air power, the whole NATO starter pack on steroids. But in September 2025, they proved something even more important. They're willing to actually use it. Why can't Russia beat Poland? Let's count the reasons. They can't match Poland's military spending, 4.7% of GDP, highest in NATO. They can't match Poland's tank force, over 1,000 modern tanks, more than major European powers combined. They can't match Poland's air power, F-35s, Apaches, modern air defense. They can't match Poland's geographic advantages, no good invasion routes. They can't defeat NATO, 32 allies who are treaty-bound to defend Poland. But most importantly, they can't break Polish will. They can't overcome 75% public support for defense. They can't defeat a nation that remembers Soviet occupation and has vowed never again. September 2025 proved something Moscow hoped we'd never figure out. The days of intimidating Poland are over. The days of treating Eastern Europe as Russia's playground are done. Poland shot down Russian drones, closed the Belarus border, called Russia's bluff, and Moscow blinked. Expectation: Poland is a vulnerable Eastern European country that Russia could bully or threaten. Reality: Poland is a militarized, NATO-backed fortress with modern equipment, professional forces, and a population that would rather fight than submit. Putin knows this. His generals know this. That's why despite all the threats, all the hybrid warfare, all the provocations, Russia hasn't attacked. Because they know what Poland has become. And they know they can't win. If you made it this far, you clearly appreciate military analysis that doesn't sugarcoat reality or recycle propaganda. Smash that subscribe button because we're breaking down the strategic realities mainstream media either ignores or deliberately oversimplifies. Drop a comment. Do you think Poland's military buildup is sustainable? Or will the debt crisis catch up with them before Russia tries anything? And here's a spicy one. Which country should we analyze next? Germany's struggle to rearm? France's nuclear deterrent? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one where we explore more Eastern European military dynamics nobody else covers.